So imagine harvesting 15,000 pineapples, and after 1 year you gain harvest 15,000 pineapples up to 3 times. And remember, these are pineapples that are not going to ripen at a go. That's the beauty of a pineapple garden.
Yeah.
1 acre, you'll find that it is ripening in phases. For instance, you can see we are harvesting these.
Yeah.
This one we harvested some time back. You see now these slips are quite grown.
Like 3 of them.
Yes, these are
Actually,
4.
They are 4 actually.
Yes,
wow.
These ones, they are more or less ready to pick.
When was this harvested?
This one maybe was around May.
Oh.
Okay. When we removed this one.
Wow.
Those are some of those early, because as you plant some of these slips, there are those that are well grown, well developed, others are a little bit. So you find that when you plant, your pineapple will grow in phases. So imagine we harvested that one, but we can say we are really in earnest starting with these pineapples. So remember, there are those ones which are at this level, these ones which are flowering.
We are in Lad Mix Farm today, and actually this place is in Nuoya. This is a pineapple garden. It's about 10 acres. If you're actually someone interested in pineapple farming, this video is for you. My name is Layoo Charles, and I'm bringing to you the farming stories of Uganda. This is the Ugandan farmer. Today I'm right here with Mr. Arthur, a pineapple farmer. Also, he's doing chili, goats farming, poultry, all those. If you are interested in it, keep on watching, because you are going to learn a lot. In today's video, we will be talking about pineapple. Growing up in northern Uganda, I used to know that pineapple only comes from central Uganda, from Luero, but it's actually changing the story. Of northern Uganda. So let's welcome Arthur to the channel. He'll introduce himself, and then we keep on, telling you about his story. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Charles. I'm called Arthur Nkubito. I'm a farmer, full-time farmer actually.
Oh, full-time?
At Lad Mix Farm in Nuoya. We are found in Bajere Parish, and so you can be able to reach us out and be able to interact with us more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, it's amazing to see what you're doing. So right here where we are standing is a pineapple garden.
Yes.
I don't know if garden is the right word to use.
Yes.
How many acres is this?
We have 2 sections. It's one big section. Actually, it's over 10 acres. But we have around 6 acres that have started flowering and fruiting.
Yeah.
And the other ones, I think they will start as we begin the next year, because we planted them in phases.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Now let's get to know about your journey. I believe you did not start this like this year, because you can see what we are holding right here.
Yes.
Take us through your journey. How did you start everything, and what exactly inspired you, or why did you start this pineapple farming right here in northern Uganda?
Thank you so much. After acquiring some land here, I noticed that the climate here was more or less like any other parts of Uganda that I've been traveling in, and I was always fascinated about the pineapple crop. So looking at the weather where the pineapples was growing and looking at how they were performing, I just felt it could perform very well here. So I needed to take that bold step. However, in order to do that, I also needed to get the right type of pineapple to bring, you see. So I reached out, because in my former employment, before I turned into a full-time farmer, I was supporting some projects within beyond Masaka area, in Kalisizo area. And so we're supporting some of the farmers that were doing pineapple farming, coffee farming, and so forth. So I knew, looked at the pineapple, the quality, the taste, and so forth. So I knew that that was the quality I'd wanted to bring here. So I took the trouble to bring it all the way from Kalisuzo past Kampala and bring it all the way to Nwoya. And I was trying to look at a crop which you can grow in a smaller area but give you high income, but also a crop which can give you income over multiple years. Because as you may know, or as you may discover today, a pineapple takes 1.5 years to grow. Yes.
And it would be ready?
Yes, it will be ready. It takes 1.5 years. It starts flowering from the 15th month. And from the 15th to the 18th month, that's when it takes actually 3 months from flowering to fruiting to see, a fruit of this nature. So I needed a crop that I could be able to get income from over a certain period of time. Because at the same time, I was doing some crop farming here. I think I started with some sunflower as well, plus maize, soybean. But I could get challenges of climate change, prolonged rains when you don't expect them, prolonged sunshine even during the rainy season, and there's a way it would disorganize entirely the cycle of the soya, for instance. So I needed a crop that whether it rains so much, whether it shines so much, the crop will keep on moving forward. And so I zeroed down on the pineapple. Now the reason why I waited up to this point, being a new crop in the region, people needed to see how it is growing, the vegetative nature of it in the garden, how healthy it will look like, but also the fruit. Look at the size of the fruit and taste. So after picking and testing and sampling it out to the market, that's when I decided to say, okay, let's have people look at it. Let's interest people to grow this crop. It is a very sweet pineapple. You'll attest to it once you taste it. And the volume, when you look at the size, is very good. So you can imagine having a crop like this and helping people not to go all the way to the central to be able to buy a fruit like this to eat. We can be able to grow this crop here, and people can be able to add value to it if they want to do juice. But also the traders that move all the way from South Sudan to the central, this time they'll just stop in the northern part of the country and be able to take it. The only challenge with such traders, when they come to a garden, they want to come and find volumes, so that when he brings his truck, he wants to be able to fill a truck in a particular village. So even if you are to do 1 acre or 2, your neighbor does 1 acre or 2 and the other one does maybe 3. He knows that once he comes there and you have agreed on the price, he will just park in one place and you fill a whole truck. And that is the only secret when it comes to these bigger markets. Yes.
And I think, I was interacting with a certain farmer a few days ago. I think that's actually one of the best way to grow as a farmer. If you don't have a very huge resources, you can, a certain farm would do this, another one would do this. So when the buyer comes, he collects from all of you.
Exactly.
I got someone asked me on my channel recently that can pineapple grow in northern Uganda? At first, I didn't know how to answer this question because I had not met you. But since you're here, I think you're the right person to answer that question. Can pineapple grow in northern Uganda?
Thank you so much, Charles. As you can attest to this, pineapples are doing very well in northern Uganda and can actually do very well, provided you have loamy soils. Even if they are sandy soils, you have just to avoid the swampy area, because pineapples don't need waterlogged soils, because then the root system will just end up rotting. They need significant amounts of rain when it is time to rain, but you don't have to plant them in a swampy area like eucalyptus. For that eucalyptus type that needs a swampy area, it will just not thrive well. So here, as you can see, the soils are very rich generally in the northern sub-region. So unless I've not seen any area in the northern sub-region which cannot accommodate a pineapple growth.
Almost every area.
Yes, apart from a swamp. You see, which is more or less the same even if you went to another part of the country. And just to interest people is that these ones are planted, of course, using suckers. Now, just to alert them that in an acre, you can actually plant 15,000 suckers. Now 15,000 suckers, you use it when you're using a spacing of 1.5 feet from one sucker to the other within a particular line.
Oh, okay.
But from one line to the other, you just give it a spacing of 2 feet.
Oh.
So when you use that spacing, you'll be able to plant 15,000 suckers in a particular acre.
Wow.
Now, why we do it that way? Because of the nature of the soils, you want to make sure that you give the pineapples enough space. Remember, as I told you, once you harvest the first fruit, pineapples don't just die out there and then.
Yeah.
It will be able to grow other suckers that come from the ground.
So if you harvest one like this,
yes,
more will still come from that.
Exactly.
Wow.
So depending on how the soil is fertile, you can either leave, it will give you up to 3 suckers. So you can either thin and say you want only 1 or 2.
Yes.
But if you find that the soil is good and is adequate enough to handle the 3, leave all the 3 to grow well.
Yeah.
And that's why we give it a spacing of 1.5 feet from one to the other and 2 feet.
Yeah.
In areas where the soil is so exhausted and you know that whatever you do is not going to give you a very big fruit, that's when you use 1 foot for 1 foot by 1 foot to plant. There you have a lot of volumes, but it will be of some size, you see. But where you're sure that the soils are very good, please give it a spacing of 1.5 feet from within one line, and then from one line to the other 2 feet. Then it will be able to give you the size that you really want. Now, as I told you, as long as when you're weeding, just make sure you keep on putting soils along the pineapple lines, and so it will grow when it is having a lot of root penetration, that will give it a good anchoring and can give you a very good fruit, you see. And then there you'll be able to see that once you remove this pineapple in a short while, the other suckers will start emerging that will give you the second fruit. If you look after the garden very well, by adding either cow dung, goat dung, rabbit dung, and cow urine and so forth, you harvest up to 4 times. But normally, we tell people that expect harvest up to 3 rounds. So this is going to be the first round of harvesting. Now, that takes 1.5 years. But the second round of harvesting, you'll find you will wait between 11 and 12 months. Why? Because the plant is already established, the root system is already there, the leaves are already there. So once the sucker comes from underneath, it is just feeding on this. So it's ready to move, and it will grow so fast. So that in 1 year, again, you find yourself picking another round of what? Of fruit. As you continue looking after the garden, you continue adding the manure and feeding it, it will give you up to the 3rd round. So imagine harvesting 15,000 pineapples, and after 1 year, you again harvest 15,000 pineapples up to 3 times. And remember, these are pineapples that are not going to ripen at a go. That's the beauty of a pineapple garden. 1 acre, you'll find that it is ripening in phases. For instance, you can see we are harvesting these. This one we harvested some time back. You see now these slips are quite grown.
Like 3 of them.
Yes, these are
actually,
4. They are 4
actually.
Yes, these ones they are more or less ready to pick.
When was this harvested?
This one maybe was around May.
Okay.
When we removed this one. Those are some of those early, because as you plant some of these slips, there are those that are well grown, well developed, others are a little bit. So you find that when you plant, your pineapple will grow in phases. So imagine we harvested that one, but we can say we are really in earnest starting with these pineapples. So remember, there are those ones which are at this level, these ones which are flowering. Okay. Then you have these ones which are yet to flower. So as you keep on selling these ones, by the time you exhaust all these ripe ones, you will not realize it that this one is already almost time to ripen. Then you start harvesting. Before you realize harvesting that round and finishing that cycle, these ones will have flowered. So you'll keep on harvesting from a particular garden even up to 6 months. And that is weekly income, and that is very, very good for a farmer, especially in the region where people are used to planting, say, maize or soybean. And you find during harvesting time, a truck comes and moves in the region, in the villages buying. But because people are in need of finances because of school fees and so forth, they find themselves selling. In 1 month, you find the whole village doesn't have food, the money has been spent, which can be turned around by growing pineapple. Because pineapple, you keep on selling in phases. You see, it keeps on. And remember, by the time you finish the other one, because now we are getting this, before we finish a month or so, we are harvesting the other one, there will be this one. By the time you finish this one will have brought another sack underneath. Before you realize it's already flowering.
Yeah.
So you'll keep on having money for a long period of a minimum of 3 years. You see? And it's a very good crop that can be a game changer.
Yes.
And that's why I'm encouraging people to really look at this crop, provided you can get quality seedlings, which we are able to what?
Yeah.
To provide.
Yes.
Yes, please.